because she was caught not wearing a hairnet, which is a big deal. Nobody actually wants their hair in their donuts as you're making the donuts. Here it was.
Blake Lively is no stranger to the spotlight. Fans around the world adore her for her charm and screen presence. But behind the glittering red carpets and award shows, a string of unsettling controversies has put her back in the headlines. From rumored hypocritical behavior on set to bizarre public missteps that left fans outraged, the buzz around Blake isn't just about her acting anymore. People are digging up every old clip, interview, and behind-the-scenes tidbit to figure out whether there's a darker side to her seemingly pristine image. Could this all be the result of overblown rumors? Or does it point to a bigger problem lurking beneath the surface?
We now begin feeling bad for Blake Lively because she appeared at her Simple Favor 2 premiere, and people are noting that she seems increasingly uncomfortable and anxious, and maybe it really is just a lot for her to deal with.
By the end of this video, you might just see Blake Lively in an entirely new light. What makes this situation especially intriguing is the timing. Just as she's embroiled in a messy legal battle with one co-star, new allegations involving another have come to the forefront, adding more fuel to an already raging fire. Today, we're taking a deep look at those claims, the donut shop fiasco.
At the donut shop to take a photo, all happy with Blake.
Account posted a picture. Now, one of my associates went in the deep end, and it turns out the little boy's a child actor.
And every jaw-dropping accusation that has turned Blake's world upside down. Stick around, because the story you think you know is only half the truth. The A Simple Favor improvised scene. Before we unpack the legal storm brewing, let's talk about A Simple Favor, one of Blake Lively's memorable roles where she starred alongside Anna Kendrick and Henry Golding. On the surface, it was a stylish mystery film filled with shocking twists and comedic touches. But it's one particular moment that has come back to haunt Blake.
When Anna Kendrick was asked about Blake Lively on the red carpet, she was a bit pithy and I would say maybe trying to be funny, but definitely made a statement.
An improvised scene that allegedly stepped far outside the boundaries of what was scripted. In that scene, she's said to have grabbed her co-star Henry Golding's groin without prior planning. Sure, improv can bring spontaneity and authenticity to a performance, but critics argue this went well beyond playful banter. Many fans who dug up old interviews and Blu-ray commentary claim Blake herself admitted this was unplanned.
So, the streets want to know, like, was he hired to be there, Blake? Or was this just a happenstance?
If Henry Golding was truly caught off guard, does that mean lines of professional conduct were crossed? Some viewers recall her describing how the moment just came naturally to the character, suggesting that she took creative liberty for the sake of comedic effect. But while comedic spontaneity is usually celebrated, the reaction this time has been anything but praise. People are asking, if she's condemning similar behavior done to her, why is her own improvisation any different? This question stands at the heart of a swirling controversy, and it's about to get even more complicated.
When she was asked about working with Blake, take a listen.
Anna, what does it mean to be working with Blake again?
Oh, yeah. Talking about you.
Just, you know.
I prefer really not to speak. If I speak, I am in big trouble.
Even if Henry gave consent in the heat of the moment, the internet never forgets. Bloggers and social media sleuths have been dissecting the footage, pointing out that Henry looked uncomfortable. Others insist that behind-the-scenes commentary was taken out of context, claiming Blake had already cleared it with Henry. Whichever side you believe, one thing is clear. This alleged on-set decision directly clashes with the image Blake has cultivated, especially as she now takes legal action against another co-star.
Opportunity that Blake Lively couldn't resist that got her in a lot of trouble because she was caught not wearing a hairnet, which is a big deal. Nobody actually wants their hair in their donuts as you're making the donuts. Here it was, dangling out, all ratty hair, just right there. Like, it's too close.
The Justin Baldoni lawsuit enter. Justin Baldoni, the figure at the center of a lawsuit so tangled it's hard to keep track of who's accusing whom of what. According to Blake Lively's claim, Baldoni engaged in behavior that made her feel deeply uncomfortable during filming. He allegedly improvised physical contact without her explicit permission, including lip-biting or sucking in scenes that were never written into the script. Blake's legal filing emphasizes how no one asked if she was okay with this, and that she was blindsided by the additions each time the cameras rolled.
So the question that people are asking is, should we be the better person? So should we be compassionate? And the answer is no.
Nope.
Maybe think about how Justin Baldoni felt when he was in that basement at his own movie premiere.
Supporters of Blake have rallied behind her, pointing to the seriousness of her accusations and insisting that no one should be subjected to uninvited physical contact at work. They claim the entertainment industry has a long history of sweeping these issues under the rug, so they applaud Blake for speaking up. Yet, critics see a glaring contradiction. How can she call out Baldoni for improvisation that crossed the line when, in a previous role, she seems to have done something arguably similar to Henry Golding? This question ignited a firestorm online.
That's too close to my food, I'm sorry. I don't want your food with that close as you're making donuts and glazing as your food falls into the donuts. It's gross.
With fans splitting into camps, one group warns we should never equate the two scenarios, given the differences in power dynamics. Baldoni was in a more senior position as a producer or director. Another group isn't buying that rationale, saying no matter the circumstance, improvised physical contact that shocks a co-star is wrong. They wonder if Blake's indignation is too convenient, or if she's conveniently rewriting her own history of behind-the-scenes antics. None of this is helped by the fact that the drama has spilled over into other aspects of Blake's life. If you think the tension around the lawsuit is explosive, just wait until you hear about how quickly public sentiment turned over something as simple as donuts.
And that the villain in this entire story is not Blake Lively, it's not Justin Baldoni, but it is Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan started the fire!
Online reactions and accusations of hypocrisy. If you spend even a minute on social media these days, it's impossible to avoid talk of Blake Lively hypocrisy. One moment she's celebrated as a style icon and caring mother. The next, she's being dragged for allegedly doing the very things she claims to condemn. Online detectives have taken up this cause with gusto, scouring every interview clip, paparazzi shot, and behind-the-scenes commentary for evidence of wrongdoing.
And she got in trouble for it. There was a big problem as the donut shop was under investigation. Now, everyone should leave this donut shop's Yelp alone. That's not help. That's only helping her, guys. Look, I'm bullied here on my Yelp, and I show up to help a donut, and they're already bullying me, harassing me, and all that. Don't go that far. Don't go that far.
Comment threads are rife with phrases like, "I used to love her, but now," or "she's lost all credibility." The tipping point seems to be that commentary track where Blake apparently laughed about the improvised grab, describing it as a spur-of-the-moment choice to add comedic shock value. Fans who previously admired her dedication to authenticity on camera are now wondering if that authenticity went too far. Meanwhile, others are coming to her defense with equal passion. They argue that Blake has always been upfront about discussing scenes with her castmates beforehand, and that her comedic choice wouldn't have gone forward if Henry had voiced discomfort. According to this line of thinking, her actions cannot be compared to the kind of unscripted lip-biting from Baldoni, who, as an authority figure on set, might have leveraged his position in a disempowering way. But the internet rarely deals in nuance. Instead, what we see is a runaway train of rumors and accusations, fueled by every new snippet
Here's
of
the deal.
gossip.
Earlier this week, she helped a friend who owns a donut shop in Wilton, Connecticut, working a mixer, putting out sweet treats for customers, looking down to earth, oh, and look at her. Some people online have a bone to pick with her, though. They're mad she didn't put on a hairnet or a hat or tie it back.
And it was at this boiling point that Blake decided to do something completely different, something presumably intended to show her down-to-earth side. She went to a donut shop. That's when the real chaos started. The donut shop debacle. The donut shop fiasco is the kind of story that sounds silly on the surface, until you realize how much it's escalated. Blake Lively popped up at Rise Donuts in Wilton, Connecticut, a seemingly innocent weekend visit where she posted photos of herself serving sweet treats at the crack of dawn. She boasted about the size of the industrial mixer, joked around with staff, and gushed about how these donuts were unlike anything she'd ever tasted. But if she thought this candid moment would soften the public's perception, the plan backfired. Big time. As soon as pictures hit social media, eagle-eyed commenters noticed something glaringly wrong.
But sure, file an FDA code, that's fair, which they did. She might want to look over the food handler's license test because her free-flowing locks have put a Connecticut donut shop that she helped under a microscope.
Blake was working with food while her trademark hair flowed freely over the donut trays. Cue a wave of disgusted reactions. Critics hammered both Blake and the donut shop for ignoring basic food safety protocols, pointing out that workers are usually required to wear hairnets or hats to prevent contamination. It got even worse. A flood of one-star reviews hit the donut shop's Yelp page, leading the site to disable reviews for suspicious activity temporarily. People alleged that the store let Blake handle donuts without any protective gear simply because she's a celebrity. Before long, the Wilton Health Department started receiving complaints about the shop, prompting an investigation. All from what was supposed to be a quaint PR moment. Talk about a spin gone wrong. Blake's friends insist she meant no harm, and that the backlash is part of a smear campaign orchestrated by those who want to see her fail, possibly even connected to the Justin Baldoni case. But for many, the donut fiasco is just another reason to question her sense of accountability. If she's so detail-oriented when it comes to her own comfort on set, why was she so lax about following fundamental food hygiene rules? Blame and retaliation claims. Amid the uproar over donut hairnets and improvised scenes, Blake's team has begun to push back hard. They've suggested that the wave of negative commentary is not organic at all, but a targeted campaign meant to tarnish her reputation. In their eyes, every unflattering story, whether it's the Henry Golding moment or the donut shop meltdown, is being amplified by forces determined to see her lose credibility in court. Some fans agree with this narrative, arguing that whenever a female celebrity speaks out against powerful men, a backlash often ensues, attacking her from every angle. Could these controversies be connected to a broader attempt to discredit Blake before her legal battle with Baldoni truly takes center stage? It's a theory that's been floated on Reddit threads and fan forums, citing examples of cancel culture at play. Yet others point out a simpler explanation. Maybe the controversies are real missteps, and every alleged scandal stands on its own. After all, the donut shop fiasco wasn't started by the tabloids. Blake broadcasted it herself on social media. The behind-the-scenes commentary about Henry Golding was from an official Blu-ray extra. In short, critics say these are self-inflicted wounds, and if Blake is feeling the heat, maybe she only has herself to blame. What's clear is that the tension is rising fast, and legal experts suggest that depositions in the Baldoni lawsuit could drag more names into the spotlight. Henry Golding's statements, if he's deposed, could either confirm or refute Blake's version of events. Meanwhile, the donut shop is under scrutiny, which could hurt its reputation no matter how the investigation turns out. It's a mess for everyone involved, and we haven't even touched on Hollywood's bigger reaction yet. Broader implications and Hollywood context. Hollywood is no stranger to controversies surrounding on-set improprieties and power imbalances. From old-school scandals swept under the rug to modern movements like #MeToo, the industry has experienced waves of reckoning where improvised boundaries are challenged and accountability is demanded. Blake Lively's situation sits squarely at the crossroads of these ongoing conversations. Consider how directors and producers often wield tremendous influence over actors' careers. That imbalance can make it difficult for lower-level talent to refuse last-minute changes or intimate improvs, especially if they fear losing future opportunities. On the flip side, even big-name actors have to maintain professionalism and respect the boundaries of their co-stars. When someone on Blake's level pushes a scene beyond what's been agreed upon, it sends a confusing message about where lines are drawn. Meanwhile, brand partnerships and public appearances, like Blake's trip to the donut shop, play a huge role in shaping celebrity images. Audiences can sniff out insincerity in an instant. If a star claims to be ultra-conscious about personal boundaries, but then seems careless about basic health rules while in a kitchen, fans will notice. This is especially damaging in an era where authenticity is prized above all else. Industry insiders are buzzing about how this cluster of controversies could affect Blake's career going forward. Some speculate that studios will keep a close eye on how she handles the media storm, waiting to see whether her next moves are contrite and apologetic or defiant and blaming others. If she navigates the turmoil successfully, she might emerge as a champion for setting clear boundaries in Hollywood. If not, she could risk damaging her reputation, perhaps permanently. Final thoughts and cliffhanger controversies come and go in Hollywood, but few are as layered as Blake Lively's current predicament. On one hand, she stands as a vocal critic of improvised scenes that cross boundaries without consent, filing a lawsuit that has the potential to reshape how productions manage on-set interactions. On the other hand, allegations against her own improvisation from years ago continue to cast doubt on her position. Add to that the donut shop misfire, and you have a trifecta of public relations nightmares that have overshadowed her usual persona of grace and sophistication. Could the tide of public opinion turn back in her favor? Possibly. Hollywood loves a comeback story, especially if new evidence or testimonies reveal that Blake's actions were actually cleared with her co-stars, and that the donut fiasco was a genuine error rather than a blatant disregard for rules. Yet, even if she manages to escape the worst of these allegations, the memory of these scandals will linger, shaping how fans and industry insiders perceive her for years to come. With rumors of more revelations to come, the situation feels far from resolved. Will Henry Golding weigh in publicly, or will the donut shop drama escalate into legal consequences? Is Justin Baldoni orchestrating a hidden campaign against her, or is she just pointing fingers to deflect blame? Right now, everything is swirling in a haze of speculation, and the real truth might be stranger than we can imagine. Whatever happens next, one thing is certain. This story has already become one of the most talked about sagas in recent Hollywood memory. Stay tuned, because chances are it's only going to get more complicated from here. Thank you for watching, and if you've made it this far, you probably have strong opinions about where you stand. Are you sympathetic to Blake, or do you think the backlash is well-deserved? Let me know your thoughts, because this controversy is clearly bigger than just one on-set squabble or a donut shop cameo. In a world where public image can make or break a career, Blake Lively's next moves might set an example for how celebrities handle intense scrutiny and whether they can ever truly outrun their past missteps.